So today, we're diving into a set of ancient words that have, for literally thousands of years, shaped our ideas about law, ethics, and culture, the Ten Commandments. Now, what makes them so powerful, so timeless, isn't just what they say, but where they're said to come from, not from a king or a philosopher, but directly from God. Let's get into it.
You see, this quote really gets to the core of it. The idea here isn't that these are just some wise old sayings or good legal advice. The whole point is that they're presented as a direct, unfiltered message from God himself. That gives them a kind of absolute authority that really sets them apart from, well, any other set of laws in history.
Okay, to really get this, you have to picture the scene. We're at Mount Sinai. This is a huge, dramatic moment. The people of Israel have just escaped slavery in Egypt, and it's here, out in the middle of the desert, that God is said to have spoken directly to everyone, laying down the fundamental rules for their brand new society.
Right, so what are these 10 commandments? What did this divine voice actually say at the foot of that mountain that would go on to echo through thousands of years of human history? Let's take a closer look. And this is the key point, right? These aren't presented as, some friendly advice or optional guidelines from a wise leader. They're framed as divine law, spoken out loud for the whole nation to hear, to show them what's right and establish the correct way to live.
So people usually break down the commandments into two main parts. This first part, we can call it the first pillar, is all about establishing our vertical relationship. These are the laws that deal with humanity's relationship directly with God.
In this first group, it's made up of 4 specific commandments that, together, really define what that relationship is supposed to look like.
Okay, so these first 4 really set the stage. First up, the idea of absolute monotheism. There is only one God, period. Second, a pretty radical idea back then, no physical idols. Worship is focused on a transcendent, unseen being. Third, a command to treat God's name with respect, not to use it casually or for your own gain. And fourth, the revolutionary idea of the Sabbath, a required day of rest for everyone, master or slave, as a holy practice.
So when you look at them all together, the purpose is pretty clear. These first 4 laws are all designed to make sure that God is honored, respected, and recognized as the one and only divine authority.
All right, now let's shift gears to that second pillar. After setting up the vertical relationship with God, the focus moves to what you might call the horizontal relationship, the rules for how people should treat each other.
This second group has the other 6 commandments, and honestly, these form the bedrock of what we think of as social order and basic human decency.
And you see, these are ideas that are just fundamental to any society that works. It kicks off with honoring the family. Then it protects life itself. You shall not murder. It guards the sacredness of marriage, protects people's property from being stolen, and makes truth-telling a pillar of the community. And then it goes even deeper. It doesn't just talk about actions, it addresses the desire, the coveting, that so often leads to breaking all the other rules.
You know what's really amazing is just how practical these are. Their purpose is to create a fair and stable community by protecting the things that matter most: life, family, and truth. It's all about helping people live together in harmony.
But, just knowing what the laws are, that's only half of it. The story also tells us why they were delivered in such a powerful and, frankly, terrifying way. This gets into the whole experience of that moment.
I mean, just try to put yourself there for a second. The entire mountain is shaking, there's thunder, lightning, and this incredibly powerful voice speaking. The people's reaction wasn't just quiet reverence, it was pure, overwhelming fear. They were so terrified they could only stand way back, trembling.
And this is where things get really interesting. You've got this contrast. On one hand, you have the people's raw terror. But on the other hand, Moses explains the actual purpose. It wasn't just to scare them. It was to test them, to give them a lasting fear of God. Not like being scared, but more like a deep, abiding respect for his authority that would keep them from going down the wrong path.
So at the end of the day, the real purpose comes through. The law wasn't meant to be some heavy burden. It was meant to be a guide. It was given to show people the right way to go, to teach them what is good, and to show them how to live well and build a flourishing community.
All right, so let's wrap this up. After looking at where they came from, how they're structured, and why they were given, what are the big takeaways from the 10 Commandments? Well, first off, they're meant to be a revelation of God's character, that he is holy, just, and good. Second, they give a pretty clear roadmap for how to love and honor God, which we saw in those first 4 commandments. Third, they lay out a blueprint for how to treat other people with respect and fairness. And finally, the ultimate reason behind them, according to the text, was for the people's own good, to protect them and to preserve life itself.
And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. These words were spoken thousands of years ago, in a desert to a group of former slaves. And yet the principles of justice, truth, family, and respect for life, they continue to echo in our laws and our debates all around the world. So the question for us is, how do these ancient words still speak to us today?